I am modifying some jar lids, and I thought, this probably be something good I could share. So what I'm using here is my handy dandy drill, and I've got a Forstner drill bit. This is to put the injection port in, and then I've got a standard drill bit. This is what I use to put in the ventilation port. So the measurements on the drill bits that I'm using are probably teeny tiny, and I'm not going to be able to see them. So the smaller drill bit is fudge, 1/6. Almost looks like it says 11/64. So this smaller one is 11/64, and this is pretty standard. This one will fit all of the ports that I've used. I'm using these red ones right now before they were just like pink ones. But for the injection port, the size of the drill bit you use is going to depend on the port you use. So I'm using these in these jars. I do not recommend this brand. I got them on Amazon, but I feel like once you pressure cook them and use them a while, a hole wears in the top that doesn't close, and I have to put tape over it. But I'm using them because I have them. The ones that I like to use and prefer to use are these orange ones, which require a smaller drill bit. I just use a standard drill bit for this. I don't use the Forstner. I would have to check what size drill bit it is. I believe, though, I have all my little mycology drill bits here. This guy's great for if you don't want to burn holes in your tub and you want to drill them, and it just attaches to your drill, your standard drill. But I believe the one that I use for this one, is this drill bit, which is 23/64. So when I have these, enough of them, that's what I use. But again, using these ones I don't like as much. So I already did most of these, so I'm sorry, I sucked. And then I was like, this is good information, maybe I'll share it. But so I already drilled the hole in this. I drilled them from the back, and then I cleaned them up a little bit. But I'm going to show you with the Forstner drill bit my process of doing this hole and then gluing the lids, gluing the parts on. I don't use the standard recommended glue that everybody else uses. I find that after pressure cooking for a while, it starts to come undone. I believe it's called RTB, whatever. I don't love it. So I just use multi-purpose rubber cement from the Dollar Tree, and it works just fine for me, and it actually seems to work better. So I'm through all the way. I have a cardboard box underneath this. Makes it a lot easier. And I'm just going to spin it a little bit. All right. So then you'll have this part that kind of sticks up over the edge on it, just from the drilling. So then what I like to do is go over it like this, sideways, and just kind of cut up the ridge there. I'm not taking it off. I'm just, making it not be a solid ring. Whoops. Try not to lose your finger. It's hard doing this facing this direction. I promise I'm not usually this dangerous. Okay, so I just try to rough it up a little bit. And then I go back in through the back again to clean that hole. And then I just pull it through. And then I will take my drill bit, the same Fastener drill bit, and I'll go through this hole a little bit. I'm just trying to create a ring around it so the glue has something more to adhere to. Not going through it, just scratching it up a little bit. All right, so then it's time to glue in our ports. Make sure I do this on camera. Okay. I usually do like 3 dots of glue. It's a little more than I wanted to use. Just around the outer edge. And then I stick my port in there and I just push it down really good. If it's not coming through, you can pull it through the back side. But I find that if you use the right drill bit, that they go through pretty well. So it's in there nice and flat. Then I take my glue and I just put a thin rim of glue around the outer edge of the port. Take my filter, and you have to be really careful with the glue on this because you don't want to put it in the hole, because then you'll end up getting it inside your filter and have to use a needle to get the glue out of it, since that is for fresh air exchange. So I'm just putting 3 dots of glue on this, and then I'm going to put it in there. And I'm also going to just put a light rim of glue around the edge. I'm going to flip them over. And I'm just going to glue around the inside a light little lining of glue on both the port, the injection port, and the filter port. Right. And then I'm just going to let them dry for 24 hours. I'll do one more, whatever. If you're bored, say goodbye, cut the video off. Oops. Before I use these, I will sterilize them in the pressure cooker. Like, I will just put these in a bag or whatever and sterilize them. Probably an unnecessary step. I could just like wash them with soap and or put them in the dishwasher or whatever. But I will still be pressure cooking them again with my liquid culture, but I just like to make sure that everything is really, really clean, because sometimes debris or plastic gets caught on them when you're making them, and I don't really want that in my liquid culture. I want to be able to see that my cultures are clean. It's also the other thing that with the red or the black high temperature adhesive, I've seen chunks of that get into the liquid culture, falling from the bottom and into the jar, and it doesn't hurt anything. It just, if you are trying to avoid sucking that up into a syringe for somebody, it's a little bit annoying. You may be wondering, maybe you're not wondering, but why I'm doing 2 different sizes of lids. I do that because I use these smaller lids to start my liquid cultures. Smaller amount of water, smaller culture, and then I will use a 60 cc syringe to, once it's grown out, to take it out and expand it into a larger culture. So then I still have, so if I started with 300 milliliters, I pull out 60 or 120, I still have a master culture. I keep a master culture of everything until I decide I'm not going to be selling it anymore, and then I just I put it in a slant. Like, I'll grow it, put it on a slant for later. But yeah, that's kind of my process. I'll do one more, even though this is probably the most boring thing on earth to watch. Just doing my 3 dots of glue. And this is just because I like to make sure that it's under the seal as well as around the seal. Roughing up your plastic is really important. I've learned that the hard way. Well, I don't know if it's the hard way, but you know, nothing sucks more than pulling your needle out and then when you're trying to do syringes or make a syringe and have your entire port come out, because you probably haven't contaminated it, but when with that suction you're pulling air in there, and it's just, you know, it's not ideal for me, especially because, you know, I'm trying to provide people with clean samples, and that's really important to me that, you know, everything comes out really clean. So if I pop a filter, I'm really pretty unhappy about it. I did finally break down and buy a laminar flow hood, even though I never have agar contamination. I mean, I think I've had one plate go bad in like six months maybe. But it wasn't sealed and it had been knocked open. But anyhow, I bought a laminar flow hood simply and only for the purpose of making sure that, you know, I'm just having an added layer of protection. And that way I also, you can pull from jars without the port that way. So it'll make things a little faster, get orders out quicker. Although I feel like we're still already, you know, pretty quick. So this is how you do your lids. And I bought the plastic, all of this I bought on Amazon. These white ones are really nice and thick and durable, which is great. But I've bought, you know, I have them in all different colors. I really truly just shop for the best deal, and these were on sale. So, I mean, I'm an equal opportunity buyer. Anyhow, love you guys. Have a great night. I hope this was helpful.